Taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying. That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 a.m. is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically for UPSC Prelims 2026. Across 8 structured sessions, you'll master India and world mapping using digital maps, satellite imagery, and visual storytelling, so locations are understood, not guessed. You'll practice with PYQs, quizzes, and mock tests, while strategic memorization techniques ensure accuracy under pressure. By the end of this program, map-based questions won't stand in your way. You'll think spatially, link current affairs to every location, and tackle prelims with complete confidence. It's about time. Own the maps, own your prelims attempt. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority, and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 a.m., 16th January at 8 a.m. and 23rd January at 5 p.m. at Karol Bagh, and 7th January at 6 p.m. for English and 12th January at 11 a.m. for Hindi at GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. is approaching fast, so ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 a.m. is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically for UPSC Prelims 2026. Across 8 structured sessions, you'll master India and world mapping using digital maps, satellite imagery, and visual storytelling, so locations are understood, not guessed. You'll practice with PYQs, quizzes, and mock tests, while strategic memorization techniques ensure accuracy under pressure. By the end of this program, map-based questions won't stand in your way. You'll think spatially, link current affairs to every location, and tackle prelims with complete confidence. It's about time. Own the maps, own your prelims attempt. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority, and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 a.m., 16th January at 8 a.m. and 23rd January at 5 p.m. at Karol Bagh, and 7th January at 6 p.m. for English and 12th January at 11 a.m. for Hindi and GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. approaching fast. So ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 a.m. is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically for UPSC Prelims 2026. Across 8 structured sessions, you'll master India and world mapping using digital maps, satellite imagery, and visual storytelling, so locations are understood, not guessed. You'll practice with PYQs, quizzes, and mock tests, while strategic memorization techniques ensure accuracy under pressure. By the end of this program, map-based questions won't stand in your way. You'll think spatially, link current affairs to every location, and tackle prelims with complete confidence. It's about time. Own the maps, own your prelims attempt. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority, and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 a.m., 16th January at 8 a.m. and 23rd January at 5 p.m. at Karol Bagh, and 7th January at 6 p.m. for English and 12th January at 11 a.m. for Hindi at GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. approaching fast. So ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 a.m. is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically for UPSC Prelims 2026. Across 8 structured sessions, you'll master India and world mapping using digital maps, satellite imagery, and visual storytelling, so locations are understood, not guessed. You'll practice with PYQs, quizzes, and mock tests, while strategic memorization techniques ensure accuracy under pressure. By the end of this program, map-based questions won't stand in your way. You'll think spatially, link current affairs to every location, and tackle prelims with complete confidence. It's about time. Own the maps, own your prelims attempt. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority, and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 a.m., 16th January at 8 a.m. and 23rd January at 5 p.m. at Karol Bagh, and 7th January at 6 p.m. for English and 12th January at 11 a.m. for Hindi and GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. approaching fast. So ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 am is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically for UPSC Prelims 2026. Across 8 structured sessions, you'll master India and world mapping using digital maps, satellite imagery, and visual storytelling, so locations are understood, not guessed. You'll practice with PYQs, quizzes, and mock tests, while strategic memorization techniques ensure accuracy under pressure. By the end of this program, map-based questions won't stand in your way. You'll think spatially, link current affairs to every location, and tackle prelims with complete confidence. It's about time. Own the maps, own your prelims attempt. To register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. UPSC preparation begins with one practical question. How do you turn a vast syllabus into a clear, workable study process? That clarity does not come from adding more material. It comes from a structure that decides sequence, priority, and review. The Delhi GS Foundation course at VisionIAS is built around that structure. Core subjects are taught in a planned flow, so concepts build instead of overlapping. Current affairs are integrated with static topics, so relevance is clear from the start. Tests are used to check understanding at the right stage, not just to measure scores. Mentorship focuses on keeping preparation aligned as the syllabus progresses. The result is a preparation process that stays steady and predictable, even as the syllabus expands. If you are looking for a structured approach to general studies, covering both prelims and mains with regular guidance and review, this course provides that framework. VisionIAS Delhi GS Foundation course starting from 6th January at 11 am, 16th January at 8 am, and 23rd January at 5 pm at Karol Bagh, and 7th January at 6 pm for English, and 12th January at 11 am for Hindi at GTB Nagar. For more information, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. fast. So ask yourself, are you taking CSAT seriously or leaving it for the last moment because it's just qualifying? That mindset is the biggest mistake aspirants make. CSAT doesn't test memory, it tests your clarity under pressure, reasoning, comprehension, numeracy, and problem solving. One weak area, one wrong approach, and the prelims journey can end there. That's why the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course Prelims 2026 starting 5th January at 11 am is designed for smart, focused preparation. With complete topic coverage, every concept in CSAT is explained clearly and systematically, so nothing is left to chance. Through practice-driven learning, you apply what you have studied with mini-tests, exercises, and exam-focused problem solving. Expert insights and strategies help you tackle questions faster and more accurately, saving precious time in the exam. With personalized mentorship, your doubts are resolved, performance is tracked, and guidance is tailored to your strengths and weaknesses. And the flexibility of live plus recorded classes ensures you can learn at your own pace, revisit tough topics, and stay consistent in preparation. Don't let CSAT decide your prelims result. With the VisionIAS CSAT Crash Course, prepare smart, build confidence, and face prelims calm and ready. For more information or register, visit our website or call us on the given numbers. Struggling with map-based questions in UPSC prelims? Do rivers, mountains, and international locations feel familiar during revision but confusing in the exam? That's where smart mapping classes by VisionIAS make the difference. This goes beyond mechanical memorization. It's an exam-focused, interactive approach to mapping, built specifically
Hello, sound check. Hello. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Rajesh Govindaraj. I'm faculty of Geography and Environment here at VisionIAS. So through today's session, we're going to see the aspects of geography and environment, particularly in the context of personality test. That is the final stage of your UPSC Civil Services examination preparation. Okay, so we are going to deal with both the geography optional part as a part of your interview preparation. Okay, so also from the general studies point of view, so what are the issues and what are the major topics which you have to go through as part of your interview preparation program, even if you don't have geography as your optional. Okay, so the entire geography and environment, both from a static and current point of view, we are going to cover it. So before we start, so let me just give you a brief introduction. Of course, all of you would be aware about the stage of interview, which is also called as the personality test. Okay, so this is the final stage. It is considered to be the final stage, where a candidate who has gone through the prelims and mains written examination, okay, so faces the board of interview, where they are going to so conduct your personality test. Okay, so ranging roughly between 20 to 30, 35. Okay, so sometimes stretching up to 40 minutes in a rare case. Okay, so through that they are going to assess and they are going to give you marks. The combined marks of the personality test and the written is going to be used to decide your final rank. Right? So this is the second stage of civil services examination. So as against very commonly misunderstood that so civil services interview is basically the third stage of it. It is basically the part of the second stage only. So why am I saying this? It's very clearly given in the UPSC notification itself. Okay, so this year's notification is slightly delayed. So whenever it comes, you will be able to go through this. Let me show the last year's notification. So this is the notification. In the notification, it is very clearly given that there are two stages in the examination. The civil services examination comprises two successive stages. The stage 1 is civil services preliminary, which is objective type. Stage 2 is civil services main examination, which includes two parts. One is written, another is interview personality test. Okay, so it is commonly misunderstood that the personality test is the third stage. No, it is not the third stage. It is part of your second stage only. Therefore, the marks of both the written and interview will be merged together to give you a final, so the marks which is used for, deciding your final rank list, right? So this, the stage after the written examination, where you have to face a board of, interviewers to check your suitability for the post of civil services. That stage is what is called as interview or personality test. The marks for this stage is a total of 275 marks, and a good marks in 275 out of 275 is considered to be above 180. Okay, so above 180 is considered to be good, and beyond that 190, 200, 205, 210, this exceptional score. Okay, so 200, 210 we can say. And below that it is considered to be average. 170, 160, 150 is considered to be good to average. Less than 150 is considered to be below average. Okay, so and obviously this will decide your total rank and the service which you are going to get. Okay, so therefore you will have to give a maximum amount of, at this stage you would not be knowing what exactly is your mains written marks. Okay, so if at all you knew about the mains written marks, maybe you can take the measures accordingly. I have heard that in few of the state PCS you would get to know about the written marks before the interview itself. But here you will not get to know, so you have to make all efforts to ensure that you get a maximum marks out of the interview. So therefore this becomes a very, very crucial stage. Right? Now, in the same notification also, so one more thing is very clearly mentioned, the nature of the interview. Okay, so very few aspirants would have gone through this part of notification, because people think that notification में क्या ही होगा, है ना? तो उसमें तो जो details है वो तो हम already जानते हैं, कितने services है. Do that mistake. Whenever the notification is out, try to read each and every line within the notification, which is applicable to. Of course, a major part of it is not applicable to you. For example, all the optional syllabus. Okay, so whatever the 26, 28 optional which is there, including the nearly around 18 to 20 literature subjects, those syllabus you don't have to go through. You have to go through only the syllabus of the optional which you have chosen. So including that, it comes to around 45 to 50 pages only. Okay, so when you compare with the hundreds of pages which one would read for the UPSC civil services, this 50 pages is nothing. And in fact, if you go through this, it gives you a very crucial information to understand the nature of examination, which many of the aspirants miss. Okay, so let me tell you what exactly is given about the interview or personality test. Okay, so it is commonly called as interview. Official word is personality test. Both in both the names there is no. Okay, let's just read this. What is the nature of interview and personality test? The candidate will be interviewed by a board who will have before them a record of candidate's career. Okay, so that means till now whatever you have done, so there is a record. That is what we call it as. What do we call this record as? The detailed application form, DAF 1 and DAF 2. Okay, so together it's a DAF. Okay, so let's just call it as DAF, the detailed application form. It is based on this the interview will be done, and no other certificates, no other documents are required to be carried over there. Of course, you will have to carry the certificates into the document verification, but not inside the board. The board will have only the DAF. The candidate will be asked questions on matter of general interest. Okay, I highlighted few parts. We'll come to that part later. Okay, so matters of general interest. This is the nature of interview. The object of the interview personality test is to assess the personal suitability of the candidate for a career in public service. This is the main objective. Okay, so that is the word I want to highlight. It is the suitability of the candidate for career in public service by a board of competent and unbiased observer. Okay, so that is how the so composed of. The interview or personality test is intended to judge the mental caliber of a candidate. In broad terms, this is really an assessment of not only intellectual qualities, but also social traits and interest in current affairs. Okay, so they have very clearly mentioned what are the three things which they are going to check. Of course, the basic thing is intellectual quality. Okay, so which is also checked in your stage of prelims as well as mains. In addition to this, what they are going to check is your social traits. Some of the qualities to be judged are mental alertness. Okay, so this is what they are going to check. Okay, so and during that whatever they are going to assess, your alertness, critical power of assimilation. Okay, so capacity to understand things. Okay, so assimilate things, a clear and logical exposition, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest. It is not only the depth of interest, it is also the variety. It's not that you may be good in one particular area. That is why they ask from a very wide variety of so areas. Ability for social cohesion and leadership, your leadership skills, intellectual and moral integrity. The most important part here it is integrity. These are the characteristics and qualities they are trying to check through your interview. Fine. The technique of the personality test is not that of a strict cross-examination, but of a natural thought directed and purposive conversation. It's going to be a simple conversation which you are going to have with the board, which is intended to reveal the mental qualities of the candidate. The personality test is not intended to be a test of either the specialized or general knowledge of the candidates, which has been already tested through their written papers. Candidates are expected to have taken intelligent interest not only in their special subjects of academic study, but also in the events which are happening around them, both within and outside their own state or country, as well as in the modern currents of thought and in new discoveries which should arouse the curiosity of a well-educated youth. This is the most important line. And this is from the notification. Okay, so nobody is making this up. This is directly from the notification. This is UPSC saying, okay, this is what we are going to check. Okay, so when the notification comes out, you can also check this. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. If you find anything extra added, please feel yourself to be lucky that you have noticed that. Okay, so and all of these keywords hint at certain particular thing. Okay, how the UPSC is going to conduct the interview, how the UPSC wants to check the candidates, and these are all, like, if we can conduct a separate session on these aspects itself. I want you to go through each and every aspect of this and try to understand the meaning of this and what is the intention and what is the way in which you have to be prepared for this. In this, I have highlighted few important keywords. Okay, so the overall interview is about the general interest. Okay, so anything which is going to be asked, okay, so it's about the general interest of the candidate. There's nothing going to be specific. And यहाँ पर एक और चीज़ भी दिया है. Okay, so candidates are already checked about their so knowledge through their written papers, both in prelims as well as mains. It is already checked. Here you are not. They are not going to check your so the knowledge or information or awareness. Here they are going to check your personal traits, which is very difficult to judge through, let's say, a prelims question paper or a mains answers. There what you are going to write is what is checked. Here what you are going to show them as a person, as a personality. Your traits, social traits. Okay, so that is what they are going to check here. Overall objective, why they are checking? To assess your suitability for the career in public services. Okay, so they have a particular very clear idea of a civil servant. Okay, so in the public service, if they are going to put someone, what is his roles, what is his responsibility, how he should behave, how he should interact, okay, how he should identify a problem and find a solution. They have an image and they are going to check whether you are going to fit into that image or not. That is the overall objective. And how they are going to do that? They are going to check, focus not only on the intellectual qualities, also the social traits and also your interest in current affairs. Okay, how you are going to interact with your surrounding, how you are going to manage your surrounding. Okay, so all of these are the qualities which they have very clearly given. Critical powers of assimilation, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest, ability of social cohesion and leadership. Okay, so and intellectual and moral integrity. Your interest in current affairs shows that you are not focused on only few things. You have a general mindset to understand various different things. And that is what here they are saying. Okay, so overall idea ye hai ki like anything which you are reading or thinking or talking, it is about the general world around you. Okay, so which has something in it, some curiosity related, some interest in this. You're trying to understand, okay, so there is something in this. Let's try to focus on this. Let's try to understand this. And this entire thing is going to be done in the form of a conversation. It is not a cross-examination as believed by many, so it is like an interrogation. They are going to grill you. It is not, definitely not like this. This is going to be a simple conversation. Sometimes if you try to hide something, if you try to, so act too smart in front of the board, then definitely there is going to be a grilling. Otherwise, it's not going to be like too much of grilling. Even in some cases, without any kind of instigation also, we have seen certain instances where the board has grilled the students. That is also a way of checking the candidate suitability. Okay, so in a difficult situation, how you are going to behave, whether you are going to hold up your character, whether you are going to show your presence of mind in such kind of situation or not. That is the overall idea. Fine. So in this context, how we are going to so deal with the interview situation, how we are going to so prepare for this interview and give our best. Already explained the importance of this interview stage. It carries 275 marks, but since we don't know about the exact written marks and we don't know about the amount of the number of marks which is required for you to get, let's say, IAS or IPS or the top rank. Okay, so since we don't know about it, you have to make your maximum effort to score highest in the interview. Right? So therefore it becomes very, very crucial. So here I would like to say there are 3 P's. There are 3 P's involved in the interview preparation. So first one is obviously the preparation. Second is practice. And third one is perform. Okay, so very simple formula. P, P, P. Okay, so you must have heard about PPP, public-private partnership. Okay, so that is in the context of public policy, public administration, governance. This triple P is in the context of the same P, that is personality test. Prepare, practice, and perform. You have to focus upon all 3 aspects. Very briefly about the preparation. Okay, so preparation is something which you can give your 100% focus if you have got an interview call. And obviously during that time, after your mains, you will start your preparation for interview. And once you get an interview call, you are going to give your 100% through that preparation aspect. But the actual preparation doesn't start with the announcement of a result. The actual preparation starts even before you had actually started for civil services preparation. It had started from your childhood. It is basically from your childhood, whatever the personality you had developed, what are the traits which you had developed. Okay, so whatever the company which you had, what are the influence which you had from your teachers or parents or friends, everything had actually already developed your personality. Okay, so there is nothing called as preparing specifically during the interview stage. What you are going to do is, so little bit shining it up. Okay, so little bit modification, so some rubbing and polishing to present yourself better. That is basically preparation here. Everything about you is already set. Your way of thinking, your way of communication, your way of analysis, everything is already there. You cannot suddenly change it in, let's say, a period of 1 or 2 months. But you are going to give a proper direction to this. That is the preparation I am talking about. Of course, there is some aspect of content updation. You already have enough knowledge about the content. Okay, so you have given your prelims, you have qualified that, you have given your mains, you have qualified that. Therefore, you are here. You have enough content in you. You have to shape that, and some updation, maybe some more current updates which have happened. And you have written a lot of things about yourself in the draft, that is the detailed application form. In that, whatever you have written, do you know truly about this? You know it, you just want to update. Okay, so you have been, let's say you are from a tier 2 city. Okay, so let's say you are from Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Okay, if you have studied over there, you are born and brought up over there, you studied over there, you know obviously many things about Madurai. Because now what you have to do, try to understand, okay, so whatever you know, so okay, so try to think from the perspective of interview. If somebody asks this, okay, how you are going to answer this? And if they are going to ask, what kind of questions they are going to ask? Like, making yourself ready. Because in interview, what they are going to check is not whether you know it or not. Obviously, you know many things about yourself, your city, your place, everything you know. In that particular moment, how you are going to answer, how you are going to express, how you are going to understand the question and put yourself in a given time frame. So there comes the preparation. So there you are trying to recall everything, so recollect everything from your general studies to optional to your personal, so hobbies, so as well as the details from the DAF, you are going to, so recollect. That is your preparation, the first aspect. End of the day, you have to assume that you cannot give 100% preparation here. Because UPSC interview is such that, आप कुछ भी कर लो, end of the day you will always find something surprising. अब जितना भी like तैयारी करके जाओ, imagine yourself to be the last candidate in the entire interview. Okay, so and your interview is in the last day, so you had all the time. Okay, so let's say you have 3 months of time since the date of announcement of result. Okay, so you had prepared many times, you had given mock interviews many times, still you will find many surprising questions in UPSC, and that is what is UPSC interview. Okay, so myself, I have faced 3 times interview. I know overall, so the uncertainty and unpredictability of the questions which are going to be asked. Not only from my experience, even from the experience of other students of mine who have gone through this process and clear this exam. Okay, you ask anyone, it is totally, many aspects are unprepared. So what is the importance of preparation here? The importance of preparation is, so being prepared for unprepared. Okay, so being prepared for uncertainty. If anything is asked, how you are going to think and answer at that moment, that is what you have to prepare. That is the basic idea of preparation. At that moment, how you are going to give your answer. Okay, so at that instant, okay, so this is what is coming to your mind. Okay, this is how it should work. Okay, so if some question comes on, let's say, an environmental issue, okay, so you have to immediately think about this. You may not know the answer. You have to think about this and frame the answer based on whatever you knew. And that whatever you knew, so may come from your childhood or may come from your school or college or maybe something which you had developed or understood during your preparation time. It can be anything. That is what is preparation. Being prepared for the uncertainty. To think and give the answer at that moment of interview. That is what you have to prepare. Second thing is practice. There are a few basic aspects of practice. Okay, so let's say you are going to give a mock interview in any of the reputed institute where some of the retired civil servants are going to check your suitability, some of the faculties are there, some of the expert members are there. So they are going to analyze, okay, so from their point of view whether you are a suitable candidate or not. They are going to give you a feedback and take the feedback and try to practice, try to improvise based on that. That is what is practice. And beyond that, on daily basis you have to think about the question and answering aspect. Okay, so it's not necessary that you have to take a mock interview for your practice. You can do it by yourself also. You can do it even while talking to your family members or your friends. Okay, so or when you're taking a walk, Just let's say just you're taking a walk in your park, and in your mind it is going on. Okay, so if that question comes, how are you going to answer? If this question comes, how are you going to answer? It should continuously run your mind. The practice is something which is going to be continuous. What exactly you are going to practice? To give an answer at that moment. Even if now at this moment, if an interviewer is going to ask a question, how you are going to make an answer? Preparation is not something which you are going to be prepared just before the interview. कुछ लोग ऐसे समझते हैं अभी से मैंने प्रिपरेशन शुरू कर दूंगा, ये सारा असिमुलेट करके एक दिन के पहले मैं पूरा 100% रेडी रहूंगा. No, that doesn't happen. You have to be prepared right now. At this moment, this interview process is so instantaneous. The nature of the civil servant is like that. A civil servant has to think at that moment and come to a conclusion and so take the decision. Like that, interview is also somewhat like this. So that is what is practice. Whenever somebody is posing a question, try to think from his point of civil servant's point of view and immediately give your so best possible answer in a short, crisp. Okay, so not too detailed. This is not your main answer where you have to keep on elaborating. You have to stop by yourself. If a question is posed, you give your answer. Okay, this is the first point, this is the second point, this is the third point. Stop by yourself. This comes with practice. And ability to understand the question, because this is going to be a purposeful conversation with for 5 people sitting in front of you, each one carrying 25 to 30 years of their field experience. The combined experience of the entire board is much greater than what in your lifetime you can go through. And based on that combined experience, they are asking. You don't even have a field experience right now. Based on that combined experience, they are asking. In that conversation, you have to try to match up to their conversation level. Try to understand, okay, what exactly they are trying to ask. Okay, so try to be more attentive. Try to understand the basic demand of the question. Many of the times, okay, so they put a very lengthy conversation, and then in the end, they just ask a very simple question. You should be able to, so be very attentive and exactly grasp what is the demand of the question. Many times the actual demand of the question may not be put in the question itself. You need to understand what is the demand, what they are trying to test. All of this comes with practice. Third is perform. If you are prepared, if you have practiced well, your performance is going to be better. Here the most important aspect is confidence. If you are confident, okay, so confident is not something which you are going to decide based on, okay, so I have done 100% preparation. You ask me whatever, I'll give you answer. No, that is not confidence. Confidence is, okay, so I know some things. If you ask me, I have the capability to think and give you the answer to the best of my knowledge. That is what is confidence. And even if I don't know if you have the answer, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Because my personality is not going to change. Right? That is what is confidence. You're going to give your answer with confidence. Right? And here there is nothing to be so fearful. Okay, so क्या ही हो जाएगा? You have crossed through all the 3 stages based on your own personality, your own caliber, your own capability. At least trust that. You're sitting there in front of the board. Among the lakhs of students, you are the one who got selected. Only few. Okay, so only few thousand, 2,000 to 2,500 candidates who got selected. You're one among them. Have that confidence. But don't be overconfident. Okay, so be humble. At the same time, so don't be completely submissive. With that confidence, try to say, okay, so ठीक है, so मुझे पता है, जितना पता है मैं आंसर करूंगा. अब बताइए, so पूछिए क्या पूछना है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि I'll try to say, okay, so I know everything. I'll try to answer everything. Okay, so I'll do anything. You just give me complete marks. That should not be the attitude. Give your answer confidently. Give your answer with 100% conviction. To the best of my knowledge, okay, this is what I know. Keep a smiling face. Okay, so be humble in front of the board. Obviously, you can never match up to their experience. Understand this. At the same time, you know your value. This kind of performance is required. It is just 3 P's. Prepare, practice, and perform. Now, so let me talk about the topic of geography and environment from point of view of interview. So where all the questions related to geography and environment can be posed, and how to be prepared for that, and what should be the approach. So these are the four main areas where you can expect questions from geography and environment. The source from where the question is going to be. The foremost is obviously your DAF, that is detailed application form. When somebody sees your DAF, okay, so whatever the details that are given in there, they can connect with anything related to geography as well as related to environment. I'll tell you why. Okay, so let's say your hometown, let's say it is Bhopal. Somebody sees Bhopal, okay, so what comes to their mind? Okay, so this is Madhya Pradesh, central of India. The location comes to their mind. The geography of Madhya Pradesh comes to their mind. It's topography, the plateau region. Anyone who has a basic knowledge of geography, they would know this. And a person who has worked on the field, they would try to link, okay, so kahan par hai, map mein kahan par? The first thing it comes to in anyone's mind is geography. Or the surrounding environment. Okay, so Bhopal sunte hi aayega, Bhopal gas tragedy. Kyun hua tha? Related to pollution. Such kind of any keyword which is there in the DAF, you have to see from the lenses of geography and environment. You will find a lot of things. It can be a place of birth, it can be a place of residence, it can be your place of education, or it can be your place of employment, your parents' native place. Okay, so your any other place of interest which you have mentioned, or let's say anything related to your hobbies, extracurriculars. You have mentioned something related to geography, something related to environment. Let's say something related to agriculture, or something related to let's say so water conservation. Anything wherever there is a linkage with geography, try to see from the lens of geography. For that you have to go through, scan each and every word of your DAF. From every aspect, every section of the DAF, you should be able to go through. Okay, so यहाँ पर geography and environment का possibility. Obviously, you have to do the same from the context of polity, from the context of history also, and economics. Because you don't know what comes to the mind of interviewer when he sees a particular keyword. So this is your preparation. Okay, so it's not about the content. It's about so trying to guess what is the probable area, and trying to make some understanding of that question, and trying to so be prepared if something comes on this line, what you will try to answer. That will make your so confidence better. That will make your performance also better. That is basically the preparation aspect. Otherwise also, see, there's nothing to be fearful here. Even if you miss something, that is what I told you. So you have to be prepared for the uncertainty. Even if you don't know at that moment, you should have that so the presence of mind to think and give an answer. वो तो है ही, but maximum जितना prepare हो गया उतना तो अच्छा है. Let me show by taking a sample DAF. How the questions can be asked. Okay, so I have just taken a sample DAF. Okay, so not belonging to any specific candidate. Okay, so just from for general understanding of the DAF, and in that how the questions can be raised, which are related to geography as well as environment. Okay, so let's just see. So what are the things which can be asked related to geography and environment here? For example, when we talk about the address of correspondence, whether it is which part, which state, which district, okay, which city. Okay, so whenever there is some, so place is mentioned, city is mentioned, district is mentioned, first you have to, first of all, when you start your preparation on interview, you have to make note of all the keywords which are mentioned in that, and try to think what are the possible questions. In that, you have to make an effort. Okay, so when you're making a note of these keywords, try to think, okay, what are the geography related issues which can be asked? What is the environment related issues which can be asked? Whenever there is a hometown, home district or home state, few of the basic things which one has to go through. What is the geographical topography? What is the climate of this? Okay, so what is the environment around this? Okay, so what type of vegetation do you find them? And what is the wildlife, important wildlife present over there? Okay, so are there any kind of wildlife sanctuaries or any protected areas present over there? Or what is the human aspect? Okay, so let's say what is the population density? What is the total population? What is the sex ratio? What is the age ratio? Okay, so what is the literacy ratio? And what is the population composition? These demographic aspects. Or in terms of resources, economic aspects. What type of minerals are found? What type of so water resources? What type of vegetation resources? Primary economic activity, agriculture, types of agriculture, what are the basic agriculture practices, secondary economic activity, manufacturing, if there is any industry, what type of industry, what are the goods for which it is known, infrastructure, transportation, communication, services, anything which you can link it with geography. Try to see each and every place. One is your correspondence address. You may be native, maybe Karnataka, but you may be staying in Delhi. In that case, you may have given the correspondence address as Delhi. In that case, you have to prepare for Delhi also. The same thing, it's not only the geography, even the environmental aspect also. Is there any pollution related aspects here? Air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. Is there any conservation efforts, biodiversity related? Or is there any specific government program or scheme related to that particular location or all of this? It should come to your mind immediately. Same is the case with correspondence address as well as the permanent address. Okay, this is something related to the permanent address. Same thing. Okay, so place of birth, if there is a change, again you have to prepare the same for that. So, other than this, so obviously in this case, you can directly see that the option is geography. So definitely they will think, okay, so you should be knowing better in geography only. So you will be, they will be asked definitely about more about geography. Okay, so again, then when it comes to your parents' details, okay, so the nationality of your father, nationality of mother, and their profession and their overall hometown. Okay, so where they actually originally from. Okay, so state from which your father belongs, state from which your mother belongs. Okay, so and in that again you will have to go to the same aspect. Okay, so what I told you about the population, resources, physical features, climate, etc. And now the education. Okay, so here also, so whatever the place of your education or the university or wherever you have studied, in that particular location, again the geography and environment comes into picture. Okay, so let's say you have studied from premier institute like IIT. Okay, so or let's say you have done your masters from IAM. In that case, again, if there is anything related to environmental projects, okay, so because some of them are very premier and they would know. Okay, so let's say IIT Kanpur. Recently, IIT Kanpur का so participation था Delhi's acid rain के अंदर directly connect होगा. Try to think from geography and environment point of view about each of these aspects. And your graduation again, if there is any connection with environment and geography, definitely it is required. And your employment. Okay, so here comes the details of employment. If there is a place of employment, again there. Okay, so their geography and environmental aspects. And here comes the very important aspects. Okay, so we have tried to morph the personal details as much as possible from this, so DAF. So that there is no breach of privacy here. Okay, so I have just taken the important aspects here. The most important part of your DAF. So this is your, so hobbies, interests, extracurriculars and all. In this, the first aspect is your prizes, medals and scholarship. Here you would have mentioned something, let's say, related to a competitive exam which you had done in your school or college, which you had done very well. which may be related to something related to environment. Okay, so environment related to बहुत सारा competition होता है. It may be something where you have done, and there they may not know the competition, they may not ask that, but they will just pick up a keyword. Okay, so let's say you had won a prize in so let's say green and clean environment, like that. In that you have won something. Okay, so let's say, or you had participated in a local let's say state level conference which is related to environment day or something like that. There they will just pick up and then they will start asking questions. Try to see each and every aspect of this. Your prizes, medal, scholarship, and your sports and NCC. If there's anything related to the environment, again the position of leadership here and extracurriculars. Here you will try to find the maximum number of questions. If somebody's activity, let's say, is trekking, traveling, definitely they will say, okay, so kahan par travel kiya batao. They will try to test, okay, so you really have a knowledge of map because you like traveling. You know about the direction, you know about the places, where exactly, what exactly is located, and they will try to understand whether you are really observed, you have the capacity to observe or not. That is one of the traits which they require. Okay, so let's say you say you last way, what is the last place of your travel? Okay, they will ask, okay, so I have been to, okay, so let's say, so Missouri, or let's say I have been to Dalhousie. Okay, so they will say, okay, so in that Dalhousie, so what is the climatic condition which you observe? What is the nature of the weather? The first thing, if they ask, you have to return in return ask, sir, can you please tell me in which month? Okay, so, or you can just say, so if they're asking specifically during the time which you had visited, you have to say, okay, so in the month of so and so, this is the weather. That means you are observational as well as you had understood, okay, so the importance of this change in the weather. Right? And they may ask, okay, so which mountains is this? Okay, so Dalhousie is part of which mountain? Right? What are the environmental issues which you had observed over there? Is there anything which is related to the local culture, local tradition? Okay, so like that. Whether it's most of the question, obviously they are not going to ask theoretically. They are not going to say, okay, Dalhousie gaye the, batao formation of Himalayas kaise. वो question नहीं आएगा. It's going to be more practical, more so relevant to the reality. In that sense, anything which you can link it with geography and environment, you can always have a connection there. So now, other than this, so obviously they are not going to grill too much on, they are not going to ask too much on this your place of preference. But definitely, if at all you have given any so state preference other than your, let's say, home state. Okay, so let's say your home state is Karnataka and you are given the preference other than Karnataka, definitely they will try to ask, okay, what do you know about this state? यहाँ पर तो home preference दे दिया, तो यहाँ पर क्यों जाना चाहते हैं ये तो पूछेंगे. In addition to that, so what do you know about this? Why do you want to go there? That is the first thing. And what do you know? So are you really aware of this particular area or state? It can be linked to your so even the environmental issues of that particular state or geography of that particular state or even the geographical constraints of that particular state too. So like this, you have to go through the DAF and try to assess, okay, so what are the possible questions which can be linked to geography. And why am I saying focusing only on geography? Because when an interview sees any particular location or term, in most of the cases, I am not saying that it necessarily has to be this only, in most of the cases, the first thing that comes to their mind is, what is the geographical condition of this? Are there any environmental issues related to this? Okay, so the geography and environment is a defining feature of any of these locations. And that is the most important primary source of questions related to geography and environment, which each of you would know, and this is something which is specific to you, which is personal to you. Each and every candidate will have a set of such kind of geography and environment questions which can be asked to you, and that is totally decided based on your DAF only. So it becomes your responsibility to go through your DAF in detail and try to identify, okay, so कहाँ पर कौन से questions उठा सकते हैं, कहाँ पर कौन से question पूछ सकते हैं. ये कैसे हम conclude करेंगे, कहाँ पर कौन से question पूछ सकते हैं? Please go through the so previous transcripts. Okay, so there is a good amount of transcripts available in the internet. Okay, so whoever the candidates who had given in the subsequent years, they had done one of the very important, so wonderful job is sharing their transcripts with the other aspirants. There's a lot of such compilations are available in the internet, and please go through them. When you go through them, you will understand, okay, this is his background and this is optional, this is from this particular state. Therefore, this kind of questions were posed. A candidate who is going to give interview, so will have to go through transcripts on day-to-day basis. This is something a compulsory exercise for him, just to understand the nature of questions. Fine. So now, second important area of questioning from geography and environment in your interview is your GS only. It is not necessary that something related to something related to geography and optional has to be asked to only the students of geography option or only from the DAF. बिल्कुल नहीं. बहुत बार जो ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल का कैंडिडेट भी नहीं है, फिर भी उनके लिए भी तो बहुत सारा ज्योग्राफी एंड एनवायरमेंट रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस पूछा गया है. इनफैक्ट मेनी ऑफ देम आर सरप्राइज, ये ज्योग्राफी एनवायरमेंट क्यों पूछ ले? बिकॉज इट इज पार्ट ऑफ योर जनरल स्टडीज. And general studies is kept over there because to assess your general interest. And anything related to geography and environment is definitely, it is so common, everyone has to know. If you go back to that, so page where UPSC has tried to describe the interview process, there it is very clearly written, a general interest on the general matters. Obviously, geography and environment becomes part of that. You had studied this for your prelims, you had studied this for your mains. You have to go through some important topics which may be very general, which may be more practical in nature, and the questions can come over there. So some of the topics, some of the subjects of what you had studied in GS becomes important here. You have to go through them. What you had done, that would be sufficient, both geography and environment. Only selectively. Please don't revise, sit and revise each and every aspect, mugging up again everything. ऐसे मत करो. You have to be selective. What is the parameter? What is the parameter to select which topic is important, which topic is not? Anything which is too theoretical, anything which is too factual, you do not have to remember. Try to see, okay, so what is the geography topic which is more practical, which can be known by a person who is working on the field from a civil services point of view, or from a elder person's point of view, or anything which is there in the news. उसके context में, ये news में है, ये important है, ये significant है, तो उसके context में anyone who is little bit aware and little bit curious of his surrounding should be knowing this. For example, Himalayas, India का most prominent physical feature है. You should know how the Himalayas are formed. ये out of the blue भी पूछ सकते हो. Or maybe you are from the Himalayan states, इसकी वजह से भी पूछ सकते हैं. In both the cases. So therefore you should know, okay, so how the Himalayas originated. Okay, so what about the monsoon? Maybe in that year there was too much of deficit monsoon, there was a huge crisis, drought आ गया था. फिर question आ सकते हैं, okay, what is the mechanism of monsoon? Why there is a deficiency of rainfall? Always try to see the practical context in every question of every topic of geography, and if there is any practical context, if there is any relevance in the present context, try to read them, try to revise them. Those areas you have to focus upon. Don't read entire GS, geography and GS environment which you studied for both prelims and mains. Focus upon those aspects which is practical, which is relevant, which is in a general sense, which has an application on day-to-day aspects. Try to quickly revise them once before your interview is conducted. I have listed few basic ideas which are from GS geography which can be asked in your interview. Some of the core theories can be asked in a very general sense, because this is, if somebody remembers from their preparation time, they would definitely remember few basic aspects. And plate tectonics, sea floor spreading, continental drift is few of them. Because जो basic aspect है, जो plate movement का है, तो continental drift का है, ये किसी को तो पता होना ही चाहिए. So such basic principles, basic concepts, which anyone who had read some geography would know, try to go through them. Plate tectonics is such a very attractive word, please try to revise them. You don't have to go in detail because the person would not be remembering in detail. आपको जितना main scale पे पढ़ के जाके आंसर लिखे थे उतना डिटेल में जरूरी नहीं. Just have to understand in broad. That is, Himalayas are formed due to continent-continent convergence. East African Rift Valley is where continent-continent divergence is happening. Mid-Atlantic Ridge is where the oceanic divergence is happening. Okay, there are zones which we call them subduction zone जहाँ पर volcanoes बनते हैं. ये basic idea होना चाहिए. Such kind of broad core theories should be known. In addition to this, some of the geophysical phenomena like earthquake, volcanism, tsunami, cyclone, etc., they are very, very important. Not from geography course point of view, but from the disaster and disaster management point of view. Because as a civil servant, you are going to be the in charge of district disaster management authority, where you are going to work on these kind of disasters and you're going to manage those disasters. In that sense, you have to be very thorough and clear about this. And you will hear about these topics on day-to-day basis too. Somewhere earthquake is happening, somewhere cyclone has hit the coast. So definitely it will be in news. Be clear about their conceptual part. Quickly revise them. Along with this, try to cover the disaster management aspect too. Okay, because this is one of the situation question which can be asked. Okay, so there is you are the district in charge of a coastal district and there is a cyclone which is about to hit the coast. What are the precautionary measures which you are going to take? This can be the question. Situation based questions. In that, definitely if you are going to give the precautions as prescribed by NDMA, this is going to be very good. You may not be able to remember all, but at least mention few of them and then add some more. Other than this, most of the practical aspects, mountain formation. Okay, so people who are working in field, who have observed outside world, they try to understand from the practical aspect, mountain formation, rivers movement, tributaries, distributaries, their locations, islands, coastal islands, okay, so volcanic islands, and the wind pattern, change in the wind pattern, planetary winds, ये क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, क्यों होता है. Monsoon is a practical aspect, western disturbance is practical aspect, and the so-called El Nino is also practical aspect, because on day-to-day basis we observe, we hear this from the newspaper. Try to revise them. In addition to this, economic geography aspects, for example, resources, water resources, mineral resources and vegetation resources. Any particular location, try to think about their resources. Your home district, home state and the India's average, okay, so rough distribution of resources. Because economic resources is a very important aspect one has to manage as a civil servant. Right? And many of these are, so many of them are in news, okay, whether it in the context of so changing mobility patterns or in the context of changing manufacturing patterns, okay, so many of them are in news. Agriculture again becomes important, home district, home state and the national agriculture practices and those again which are in news and the issues related to agriculture very, very common. Industries, you don't have to go through all industries, only few basic industries. If it is related to your DAF, definitely it is yes. Other than that, बहुत basic idea. Okay, so national level में mobility का बात हो रही है, you should know about battery industry, semiconductor industry, because electronics is something which is they are talking about, so more commonly. Automobile industry more important in the current context, so because there was a slump. Okay, so and then traditionally iron and steel industry, basic idea तो पता होना ही चाहिए, like this. And then comes the social geography. Population becomes the most common aspect. India's population, changing population, demographic dividend, aging population, demographic structure, migration trends, in migration, out migration. As a civil servant, human resource is very, very important for you. Okay, so for the nation, you have to know about them. India's population resource, settlement, urbanization, the most of the important issues related to urbanization. And India's tribe, the ethnic communities, and their issues and their distribution. That is what you have to quickly revise. Please give more focus on the practical rather than theoretical aspects. Try to think from practical point of view what kind of questions can be asked. And try to see some of the mapping related questions also. Okay, so because sometimes they just like to so randomly ask map related. ये कहाँ पर है बताओ? Okay, आप यहाँ से हो, ये देखा है क्या, वो देखा है क्या? Try to give. मतलब जो किया था prelims के लिए किया था उसको roughly एक बार revise कर लेना. What about environment? The basic concepts related to environment is something which one should know it, because this can be asked by anyone. A basic ecology, what is a niche? What is the role of a niche? What is food pyramid, food chain? Okay, so how the energy is transferred in the ecosystem. What are the different types of ecosystem? What is a grassland? What are the characteristics of a grassland? What is a rainforest? Why rainforest is important, significant? What are the issues over there? What is a wetland? What is a peatland? The basic ideas, basic concept you have to be very clear. That can be asked to anyone. किसी को भी पूछ सकते हैं. You don't have to be a geography optional student. In addition to this, biodiversity is something which becomes significant. Here, a general idea. Okay, so anyone can be asked about tiger conservation, cheetah conservation. It's always in news. Elephant, man-elephant conflict, or important species, let's say Great Indian Bustard, anything which is relevant from the current context. You don't have to remember all the critically endangered species, ये बहुत ही critically ऐसा नहीं है, which is larger one. मतलब जो flagship species है, जो बड़े-बड़े species है, जो हमेशा news में रहता है, उनको थोड़ा सा roughly देखना है आपको. In addition to this, the conservation efforts. What is a national park? What is a wildlife sanctuary? Conservation reserve, community reserve. A very basic idea about them. Because these are all, so administrative measures. A civil servant is going to be there. You may think, okay, Indian Forest Service तो नहीं है. Indian Forest Service में तो obviously पूछेंगे. उसके साथ में, even with that, at the district level, a DC or IAS officer is also in charge of the entire district, right? And he also oversees all such forest resources too. Any kind of such measures of conservation, whether it is national park, wildlife sanctuary, if there is anything related to your hometown or home district, if there is a national park or a biosphere reserve, definitely you have to be thorough about that. Degradation is the most important aspect in environment. ये तो thoroughly आपको cover करना ही है. Because all of these are in news for some other reason. Try to cover a basic clarity, try to develop a basic clarity in this. Water pollution, air pollution, Yamuna pollution, Ganga pollution, marine pollution, coastal pollution, air pollution, Delhi's air pollution, National Clean Air Program, okay, so stubble burning, anything related to the air pollution. Okay, so and then the land degradation, deforestation, loss of fertile land, desertification, expansion of deserts, or even the climate change. Most important to climate change. You have to be completely thorough about climate change. It can be asked about as to any candidate for that matter. किसी को भी पूछ सकते हो. You have to be very thorough about the basic concepts of climate change. In fact, if you ask me, one of the most important topic in the entire environment is climate change. What is climate change? What causes climate change? Natural and anthropogenic factors. What are the impacts of climate change? What are the evidences to prove climate change is happening? Impacts, various different impacts, and most importantly, the measures taken. All conventions, protocols. So all the conservation efforts you have to, so including the sustainable development, the concept, the sustainable energy. Energy is something again becomes very important after climate change. Renewable energy, non-renewable source of energy, sustainable energy, new forms of energy. What are the issues over there? And even agriculture, sustainable practices. Okay, so every different aspect related to agriculture. Conservation efforts. Here you have to focus upon important conventions, protocols. You don't have to go through the entire timeline and go through each and everything, but at least the major one, जो सब लोग सुनते हैं, particularly from a civil services point of view, those जो जिनको पता होना ही चाहिए. For example, Paris Agreement क्या है? Vienna Protocol क्या है? Vienna Convention क्या है? Montreal Protocol क्या है? Pollution related क्या है? Biodiversity के लिए कुछ कर रहे हैं? सबसे important तो obviously so Paris Agreement and recent happenings of so climate change, global warming, ozone depletion. इसके context में recently जो भी हुआ है ये सारा important हो जाता है. In addition, India में environment related क्या क्या है? All legislations. There are 10 important legislations under the India's environment so segment. In that particularly you have to be thorough with the Wildlife Protection Act, Environment Protection Act, Biodiversity Act, Forest Rights Act. Forest Rights Act सबसे important हो जाता है because again the civil servant comes into picture over there. Right? So जहाँ पर भी so civil services से administration का so थोड़ा बहुत भी involvement है to a very great extent, or there is so some takkar with the locals on that context, you have to be very clear about the provisions. And then the important rules in the context, plastic waste management rules, solid waste management rule, they're all administrative problems. It can be asked by anyone. Delhi का municipal solid waste का जो हमने तो पूरा पहाड़ बना के रखा है, वो क्यों ऐसे पहाड़ बन गए? इसके ऊपर rules नहीं है क्या? Why these rules are not implemented? How we are going to solve this problem? It can be asked to anyone. You don't have to be even from Delhi. You may be sitting in the corner of so India and preparing for this. If there is a national issue in the capital, such an environmental issue is there, it can be asked to anyone. Schemes and programs. Okay, so Mission Clean Ganga, something which is going on since a long time. You have to know about them. Okay, National Clean Air Program, you have to know about them. Graded Response Action Plan. Okay, so or Project Cheetah, right? Or Action Plan on climate change. All of this, most important initiative, you have to be aware. As an aspirant, this is something which is, you have to know, as well as it is impacting anyone in general also, right? So these are the focus areas from GS one has to know. Current affairs. Briefly, I'll tell you about current affairs. Because whatever the environment issues are there, whatever the geography issues are there, from current context, you have to be completely thorough about this. How to cover this? If you have a simple compilation of all environment related issues in the last 1 year, please go through them. You would have read about this in your, for your mains. Okay, let's say for your mains, you have gone through mains 365. The entire year's environmental issues in one document, please revise that. Or let's say you had done your newspaper clippings and short notes are made out of this, please revise the entire environment part of that. Totally important. Fine. या वो ठीक से नहीं किया था, कुछ और सोर्स दिया था, अभी you want to see it comprehensive, अभी आए हैं PD 365 environment. Okay, so it's ready. Entire year's environmental issues are there, please go through them. Okay, it has covered till November. December, January का जो भी issues है वो थोड़ा सा update कर देना. From the monthly magazine you can cover. The last 1 year's environmental issues, major issues. You don't have to go into the details one. Obviously this is not prelims, this is the mains. Only there where there is a issue based. Don't worry about some facts or information. Where there is an issue, okay, air pollution, what is the cause, what is the solution? Water pollution, what is the cause, what is the solution? Recent initiatives related to climate change, what are the recent initiatives? उसमें क्या decision लिया है? India का role क्या है? Okay, so sustainable development, energy initiative, electric mobility, उसमें India का role क्या है? And trust me, यहाँ पर अगर आपको पता नहीं है तो कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं. You can always say, so sorry sir, I'm not able to recollect. Sorry sir, I don't know. Honestly, confidently बताना. Saying no is not a sin. ऐसे डरना नहीं है no बोलने के लिए. Because it is not expected that you know everything. This is something current affairs. Okay. But if you know, it will make an impression. If you say no, it doesn't make a bad impression. You will be given another option. You will be given another choice. ये दूसरी क्वेश्चन से उसको ओवरकम कर सकते हो. No issues at all. If you know it, ठीक है. It's good. You know about it. You are aware about this. देखो सबसे ज़्यादा मैटर करता है यूपीएससी में opinion based questions. Not the facts, not the information. Your opinion. Because that will show your personality. That will show how exactly you think. Okay, so your analytical capacity, critical analytical capacity. That is what they are trying to check. Therefore, try to give your maximum focus upon these opinion-based questions. वहाँ पर आपको no बोलने के लिए option नहीं होता है. Delhi air pollution सबको पता है. If at all they are asking, okay, so what is your opinion about the Delhi air pollution? How do you suggest tackling this? वहाँ पर कुछ तो बोलना है. You cannot say, sorry sir, I don't know. Right? If they are asking, okay, so what is the most important, according to the recent report, which is the most important contributor of Delhi pollution? If you know it, you will say it. If you don't know it, sorry sir, I am not aware. I'll go back and check. You can say so. But if at all they are asking about your opinion, you have to give your opinion. That is what is they are trying to check. Your analytical capacity. So in geography and environment also, in the context of current affairs, try to focus upon these kind of issues which are opinion based. Right? In the end, I'll give you some of the recent, currently important issues from the interview point of view. Okay, so before that, let me cover this optional aspect. If at all you have geography as your optional, okay, so of course, whatever we have discussed in GS is applicable to you, DAF applicable to you, current affairs applicable to you. In addition to this, little more thing. What are the extra things which you have to do? Those only from geography optional. You have to read about some of the theories and concepts in little bit more detailed manner. If you don't give information, it will make a bad impression. You are from geography optional, if you don't know about plate tectonics, if you don't know about little bit more detail of plate tectonics, again it will make a bad impression. Okay, so बाकी लोगों के लिए ठीक है, so सोच सकते हैं कि चलो भूल गया है, आपको तो पता होना चाहिए. You have written optional in this, right? Either you had optional or you had a graduation subject. In both the cases, I am telling. It becomes very important that you know about the basic theories and concepts of geography in more detail. Please revise them. Just the theories and concepts. Very, very important basic ideas. Optional is a very important part, I am telling you. In addition to that, you have to give some more emphasis on the information and facts. I am not saying कि ये बहुत compulsory करना ही है. Even if you don't know, it doesn't matter. But if you can add them, it will make a added impression over there again. And try to add some recent reports related to environment. I am saying reports related to, let's say, economic activity, agriculture, population, okay, so or settlement, or any of this, so recent report में जहाँ पर so change होता है. Try to remember. Okay, so they may ask a very simple question like, okay, what is the temperature of the Earth's inner core? Or they may also ask, okay, so what is the deepest point in the Earth? What is the tallest point in the Earth? What is the height? What is the difference between the tallest and deepest point? Just to check how well you had studied geography. If you don't answer, they may say, okay, at this point of time you may not know. You also can say, okay, sir, I am not able to recollect. I'll just go back and check. But if you can add this, it is going to give a good impression. Okay, so you did not study the optional for the sake of studying it. Okay, you had actually interest in that. One more common area for geography I have heard about geographers, both from the world as well as India, both from historically as well as contemporary. Famous geographers historically, famous geographers historically, and the present geographers across the world, Western, okay, so as well as the Indian. In Indian, who were the historical geographers, who were the present geographers? Okay, what are their major contributions? Try to see, try to understand, try to make a list. Okay, so again they will try to check, okay, so whether you had actually interest in geography subject or not. And few of the aspects related to cartography and mapping. So maybe as part of, they think that you would have studied this. Obviously, even you don't study cartography in optional also. But somehow they carry that idea. In many of the interviews, I observed that they have asked something related to cartography, basics of map. Okay, so just brush up about this. A very rough idea would be sufficient. Most important aspect is how you are going to interlink your subject with other subjects. For example, political geography, economic geography, social geography. How you are going to connect. They may ask something related to IR. And ask you to, okay, so इसमें geographical context बताओ. Okay, so they may say, okay, so Ukraine and Russia conflict है, वहाँ पर geographical context क्या है बताओ. Or maybe something related to your hobby. Okay, so let's say so you play shuttle badminton. Okay, so उसमें geographical context बताओ. You should be prepared. Any of these. If at all you had geography optional, your DAF become much more important. They will try to check each and every question, every part of your DAF with a geography word. If you had geography optional, try to go through this thoroughly, your DAF and the keywords. And current context, again, any current issue, current context, current program, scheme, okay, so or any, so recent initiatives, okay, so whether it is Venezuela's political issue or even the Trump's attempt to take over Greenland, okay, so जो भी है उसमें geography angle ढूंढो. If at all you had geography as your optional, and try to give more focus on environment also, because environmental geography, it's of course an integral part of your geography, physical geography itself. You have to know about environmental issues also in more detail. Same thing applies in more detail. These are the things which you have to take care. So now, let me give you some important list of topics for current affairs for this year's mock interview or interview personality test. Okay, so you can also go through the PT365 document. There we have already listed the important topics. We have discussed broadly. Okay, so recently only, so we have had this PT365. Okay, so in that I have only discussed the various important topics relevant for this year's current affairs. That applies for your interview personality test also. And that is one of the ways of seeing this. Other than this, if you ask me specifically, okay, so or let me just open the PT365 content list and show it to you, and also highlight the important topics for you. So, in the topic of biodiversity, so let me just mark these important topics for you. So, the biosphere reserve become an important topic. Recently, a new biosphere reserve has been added to the UNESCO World Heritage, UNESCO MAP program. Wildlife Protection Act and its provisions recently amended, and the rules are also notified. Biodiversity Act and its provisions, again the rules over there. Okay, so both are related to the civil services and administration. Integrated development of wildlife habitat is a very important scheme in the context of entire so wildlife conservation. And Project Cheetah most important. Okay, so बहुत ही important है, उसके question तो किसी को भी पूछ सकते हैं. One of the very strategic significant project which government of India had done in the recent times, and the recent tiger reserves on their issue, because Supreme Court had given some of the guidelines in the context of tourism inside the tiger reserve. And other than this, few recent assessment. Yeah, there are recent assessment related to elephants in India, crocodile in India, dolphin in India. Just a few of the basic highlights, as well as vultures in India. Okay, so ये चारों recently कुछ report आए हैं in terms of their numbers and changes. Fine, and that becomes important. In the context of forest, yes, Forest Conservation Act is important. Okay, so Forest Conservation Act and their recent changes in the rules become significant. Okay, so and in the context of the world's so high seas pollution, okay, so biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. Okay, so UN High Seas Treaty becomes significant, and the recently declared Ramsar sites, again very very important. Coral bleaching is a very important environmental issue. You have to be thorough with that. And yeah, so these are the terms which are related to the news which are related to biodiversity. Okay, so the rest are all minor news. You can skip from the context of interview. I'm saying climate change. Of course, the most important topic here is the recently conducted COP. The major outcome of this recent COP and their background, you have to be thorough with that. Okay, so other than that, within India, so NDC, what is NDC and India's contribution and the recent achievements. Okay, so and the green credit program. Okay, so as well as the CCTS, carbon credit trading scheme, and also Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, again very very significant. Montreal Protocol is very very significant. Okay, so and CCU as a concept is important. Okay, so and I already told you climate change is a very very important topic. CCU as a concept is very very important. Okay, so glaciers, recently many of the glaciers are in news, glacier melting, etc. So in the context of climate change, this becomes very very significant. Okay, so rest are all minor topics. You can just roughly go through them. In the context of pollution, obviously, Delhi's air pollution, the entire reason, the cause, and the impacts, and the measures to be taken. So I would also suggest we have done a video in VisionIAS. You can just search Delhi smog. Okay, so you'll find a 2-hour YouTube video on that. You can just refer to that. A comprehensive coverage of so Delhi smog, Delhi's air pollution. So other than this, definitely water pollution, river water pollution, and so Ganga, Yamuna pollution. That becomes an important topic here. Okay, so rest are all minor topics. In the context of sustainability, obviously you have to go through the SDGs, because it's been 10 years of SDG, and what is India's progress, what are the important SDGs, where we are so moving ahead, doing well, all of this becomes important. The entire renewable energy sector, please be thorough with this. It can be asked to anyone. Okay, so what are the different renewable source of energy which India is working upon, what is the contribution, in where we are improving, where we have to work upon, and where we are leading in the world. Okay, so in that context. And green hydrogen is something which is very very significant. Okay, so International Solar Alliance is also news, because USA has quit. And so biofuel again very significant. Please go through biofuels and their the entire background related to biofuel, and other source of energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, obviously. Okay, so and sustainable agriculture, few of the topics related to sustainable agriculture becomes important. Okay, so in that agroforestry, natural forest, the natural farming methods or organic farming method, agroforestry, this becomes important. Okay, so try to go through them. In addition to this, disasters. Okay, yeah, of course, sand mining is very significant. इसके लिए तो आप situation based question में ready रहो. Sand mining most important. Okay, so Great Nicobar Island project, again very important, significant in the current context. Okay, so dam safety is again a issue related to, so let's say management, governance. Okay, so becomes significant. And in the context of disaster management, recent disasters. Okay, so cloudburst is another important disaster. Flooding is another important disaster. GLOF is another important disaster. Recently tsunami occurred, oil spill. These are all the recent disasters. You have to know about almost all the disaster. Try to give more extra focus on this. They all occurred here. Okay, so recently there is a portal on flood, and in the context of so excess monsoon and heavy flooding, there are few flooding scenario. Cloudburst has become very common, and GLOF is a scenario where it is you have to deal with the disasters and the community as a whole. Tsunami recently occurred in Russia. In that context, tsunami as well as earthquakes. Oil spill happened few times in the last year, so it becomes significant here. So other than that, in geography, the concepts related to, let's say, polymetallic nodules and sulfides, which recently India has got access to in the Indian Ocean. Okay, so in monsoon, in the context of monsoon, the long period average becomes significant. Pacific Ring of Fire, again, very important term, everyone would know. And the oceanic circulation, Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, the weakening of it is a geography related concept. Okay, so and any of this, okay, so related to geography's concept, volcanism, earthquake, and all plates in the context of them. And recent rivers in news, try to see them, geographical features in news, rivers in news, and other locations in news, so try to go through them. And other than this is covered till November, December, January, February. Okay, so February, okay, so whoever is having interview in February, so you may cover till January. These 2 months I would suggest please go through monthly magazine, VisionIAS monthly magazine, environment section is there, you can broadly cover. The most important issue all of you would have heard, okay, so that is the Aravali issue. Okay, so and if at all a question comes in environment and you are asked, okay, so how do you have to take a stand? Okay, so whether it is, let's say, so let's take an example of Aravali only. Do you have to take a stand of, so the government? Okay, people think government का ही opinion हमें justify करना है, तो government का opinion Supreme Court ऐसे बोल दिया. Or do you have to actually take a stand of activist? Okay, environmental activist कुछ और बोल रहे हैं. What kind of stand do you have to maintain in the context of environment? My opinion in this context, try to make a balance of both. Of course, don't make it too polished. Don't make it like a too polished answer. They would not like a too polished answer. Try to see from the context of reality. As a civil servant, obviously, you know the reality, you know the practicality. At the same time, you're trying to balance with what is existing from the government side. Okay, so try to not justify and say, okay, everything is right. Try to say, okay, so there is a problem, accept this. A civil servant has to accept the problem. Right? At the same time, try not to be too critical of the government. Okay, so government भी कुछ कर रहे हैं. So यहाँ पर जो issue हुआ है इस context में, so let me take an example of Aravali only. So Supreme Court has said that up to 100 meters it will not be considered as a hill. Beyond that it will be considered as a hill. Okay, so hill or mountain. So therefore we can so use it for administrative purpose. This became a wide criticism. Then finally so it was taken back. All of this, so all of this issue came up. We all know about that. In that context, what is your opinion? See, the baseline of 100 meter is set from the context of administrative and legal purpose. That kind of limit is required for clarity. That doesn't mean that the government is allowing everything, okay, so below 100% to demolish kar lo and all. If you see from the administrative and legal perspective, okay, so there is a certain kind of limit is set. But from the environmental, geological perspective, if you see, this should not be the only criteria to be followed by the government. Okay, so when we talk about the policy making, policy implementation, we have to consider other critical aspects also, like slope, or continuity or the presence of diversity, because Aravallis are very very old fold mountains. Just because it is lower in elevation you cannot say okay so ये तो mountain qualify नहीं करता है, इसको थोड़ा सा ऐसे ही तोड़ के mining करने के लिए allow कर लो. No. Okay, there is a 100 meters limit. Okay, so that is set by some basic framework, but that should not become the only criteria. We should go beyond that. From the government, policies should be made and implemented in such a manner that even below that it is protected. That is how you have to bring the balance. Balance doesn't mean that too polished. हाँ गवर्नमेंट भी कर रहे हैं तो ये भी ठीक है वो भी ठीक है, नहीं. You have to identify the issue. The issue is ecologically sensitive. Yes, it is ecologically sensitive. That is where a civil servant comes into picture. That is where our opinion, our so policy suggestions comes into picture. So try to bring that practical context. Right? Apply this for any environmental related issues. Okay, so now I'd like to take up the questions and doubts if any of you are having it. Any doubts or queries? Okay, fine. Let's wrap it up. I wish you all the best to all of you whoever is going to attempt appear for this year's interview. Okay, so I hope everything goes well and you have that confidence which is required for you to give your best. Okay, so please remember confidence and positive frame of mind is the most important thing in your interview preparation. Right? So I wish you all the best to all of you. Thank you.